Consumer inflation numbers came in better than expected in October, supporting claims that the Fed may stop raising rates. Also, mortgage demand climbed to the highest it's been in the last 5 weeks. And on another note, we're seeing home buyers under 30 having to turn to family members for down payments and closing costs to purchase a home if they can qualify for the current home values that are out there right now. So we're talking about all of this with our good friend Brent Starks from United Lending, so don't go anywhere. Hi, my friends. If this is the first time you've been to my channel, my name is Lee Bricky, and on this channel, we talk everything real estate from Palm Beach County to the Treasure Coast. So if any of that interests you, you're going to want to subscribe. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our real estate tips and tours. And with that said, let's talk to our good friend Brent Starks. All right, Brent, how you doing today, man?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, Brent. So consumer inflation came in better, my friend, for October, supporting expectations that the Fed may be done raising rates to fight it. So I'm hearing that that may be a little bit too much for the Fed right now, that they're not going to raise rates. So they're jawboning that they may. They're and then we're hearing the market saying, "Hey, don't count on the Fed lowering rates at all." And we may see another rate increase next year. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, they've been jawboning for several months. They want to make sure that they don't look like they, intervened way too late. Now it's about reputation management, that the transitory argument kind of was, was misleading to a degree.
It was a tad misleading.
It was
a tad misleading.
It was. And, Lee, one of the things I look forward to is the PPI, the producer price index. And that's a leading indicator. The following day after the CPI is released, we see a lower a lower inflation gauge there as well, as far as raw materials, and what that's forward-looking statistic. 3 to 6 months out, there's raw goods that are going to be turned into consumer goods, 3 to 6 months down the road. So that came in lower as well. So that's a strong indication that inflation's in check, and pricing should be stabilized.
Right. We're seeing food prices drop. We're seeing gas prices drop. I mean, I got $2.66 a gallon at Costco yesterday. So, I mean, that's pretty low. I haven't seen gas prices that low for a while. Way I understand too, the U.S. is now producing as much oil as we did on the previous administration. So, we're seeing the oil prices start to drop, but that's until the Saudis decide that they're too low and they're going to start pumping up lower in their production. So, but with all that said, to get into this, is that this inflation cooling, we're starting to see a reflection on rates right now. So we saw rates kind of move down a little bit. Where do you think that we're going with this? Because NAR has their forecast out for next year, and they're saying that rates will probably hover over 6 to 7% next year, but we'll see sales increase by probably around 15%.
That's what they said. That's what I was reading as well. And 6 to 7% as early as spring, by the way. So that's
right.
Really encouraging news. And, we've seen a big drop just recently. Remind you, the mortgage market's a little ahead of the Fed. It reacts in real time to news coming out. So this morning, oil actually went up just a tick this morning. So rates are back up just a tick, not much, but with the trend is definitely still improving. But what we're seeing right now is obviously inflation, as it gets more and more in check, it's going to look to, lower interest rates. And we're seeing, tapping at 8%, just a few weeks ago. Now we're in the 7.25% range. And so that's a big turnaround. And it's not just a fundamental turnaround, it's a technical turnaround as well, as far as the bond charts, the people that read these types of things. And that's a strong indication that there's a reversal. So no question about it.
So you see, Ray, you're kind of agreeing with not what NAR is saying about the rates hovering 6-7% next year.
Absolutely. And I think early next year as well. We've seen some buyers come off the fence. They're pretty much aware of it and watching those things as well. So we're seeing the implications of it actually already as well.
Right, because the next thing I want to talk about is mortgage demand climbed to the highest level in 5 weeks after mortgage rates moved lower. So just that little tick down of mortgage rates, where are we sitting right now?
Yeah, right now we're at about 7.25 right now. Just and it depends on the credit profile, income, down payment, all those types of things. But it's kind of an average is right around 7.25, 7.375 right now is the range we're in.
Right. Now you're getting some people below 7 right now, right?
We are FHA, government insured types of loans. Those types of programs have incentives as well because there's a couple things. There's the mortgage insurance that kind of offsets some of that risk for the lender, so that allows us to get in the sixes now. Another thing we're doing right now, Lee, I haven't really talked to you about it yet, but until March 31st, we have a program out specifically for the 1-0 buy down because we feel that right now the interest rate environment is going to improve further into the 18, 24 months down the road. So what we're offering is a $600 credit at closing for the appraisal and a 1-0 buy down. In other words, if we're at 7.25 today, they can get that 6.25 for the first year, and then it goes to the full note rate of 7.25. And we believe that's right about the same time we're going to be in the low sixes and moving into hopefully the fives, and then we can refinance the loan and take advantage of the market now with that $600 credit and also the 1-0 buy down. So we're excited to offer that through March 31st.
Right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, really good.
And so and as we see this, these rates start to drop, we're also seeing the market pick up in different places. One of the things that we're seeing right now, and let's get into this a little bit to close up, is that article came out by Yahoo Finance. The tsunami is about to hit the housing market, but millennials and Gen Z may not come out any better in the wash. Just to add on to that is nearly 80% of Gen Z and millennials are having to have payment help by mostly family to get their down payment in so that they can purchase a home, because the average home price now is $400,000 in the US. That's the whole United States, not just Florida. That's the whole
Right.
United States. And I'll let you talk about what income that someone needs to make to afford that, but it's making it really hard for millennials and Gen Zs to purchase a home. And also with these higher rates, that makes it even harder. And then with not a lot of inventory on the market, and now you're seeing more of the older folks coming into the market downsizing their homes.
Right.
So we've actually seen a tick up this last couple of weeks of listings hitting the market, more than we've seen in a while,
Mhm.
because of rates are starting to come down. So I think what's happening, and you can verify this if you believe the same thing, but I think what's happening is that a lot of people are coming out of these homes. They have a ton of equity. They're able to put down a ton of money on a smaller house, and in some cases sell their homes and just buy a smaller home for cash. So they're not even
Right.
having to pull a mortgage, or they're doing what you're doing a lot of, is doing these reverse mortgage purchases.
Right.
So
Right.
talk a little bit about where you think that the housing market can improve so that people like my son, kids like my son who are 26
Mhm.
years old, can afford to go buy a home. Forget about my daughter who's just about to turn 21, or your daughter, the same
Right.
age.
Right.
So they're just shut out of the market right now and forced to rent. So
Mhm.
what's your thoughts on this?
Like you've seen, Lee, with our kids, they're paying all this rent right now and they're looking for that opportunity. So I do see that changing. The more that inventory is what's really needed right now. That's what's really needed. And we're seeing that as people look at the opportunity to take advantage of the lower rates right now and increase in listings and opportunities to make that transition. I say, the demand is fully there. I mean, as far as, there are folks retiring, the baby boomers are looking to sell and retire and downsize. It's almost been like it's been backed up like a dam, and
Right.
that dam's about ready to break because they've just got to, make that move. Those needs still, are still out there. The household creation figures are just off the charts because so many people have been pushed out. If you ask what's the average income right now, the median income to purchase a home right now just went over $100,000 in annual income per year. That's what the median purchaser is looking at right now to purchase a home. So
Right.
that's the figure you're asking about, and it is pretty daunting for young people coming out of school right now, the first time home
Yeah, I mean,
buyers.
because I mean, like your daughter, my son, they make good money, but
Right.
without a second income, they're 50% of their income, 50% of their income is going to be their house payment, which is
Right.
devastating to a young person. And a lot of them are in that situation already with rent payments. So how are they going to save money to purchase a home? Right? Because they don't have equity in a home like someone that's been in their home for the last 10, 20 years and
Right.
or even 5 years. I mean, if you've
Right.
been in your home
These
for
days.
5 years, you're sitting on, 100, $200,000 worth of equity here in Florida. So uh it's a real problem. And I think that new construction is really the only way out of this. And these home builders seeing the need and starting to maybe build a little bit less expensive home, and states getting involved with this also. I know that this is going to be a huge election question for young people. I know that millennials are really looking at this, and there's a whole coalition being put together, uh, and they're for voting, and they're really pushing for a politician to tell them how they're going to be able to uh, have the American dream of owning a home, because
Right.
it is there's a lot of really successful young people out here, and we meet them every day making six figures here in Florida. But
Right.
the problem is, once we run the numbers for them, they're looking at taking such a chunk out of their income, it just doesn't make any sense. And I know you and I have talked a couple, more than a two, out of buying a home, because it just doesn't make sense for them right now.
Right. We don't want them to be owned by the home. We want it the other way around. They want to own the home, not
Right.
having them own them. Right. So, and I think that's where that's where the rubber meets the road. You got to just say, hey, what are you comfortable with? Because sometimes the lender will say, yeah, we can do this, but does it work for you individually? And then we got to look at, what do we think as far as advising them, down the road. Does it make sense to purchase now and refinance later? And that's really only the borrower or buyer can answer that question. We just lay out the options, because right now there are ways with down payment assistance. There's 1-0 buy downs, 2-1 buy downs. There's all sorts of strategies to help make the transaction happen with a refi down the road. However, it's an individual choice right now,
Right.
I see the market changing. I'm seeing it evolve over the last 2 weeks with the inflation numbers that were coming out and the employment figures are coming out. All those things are pointing to lower interest rates in the future, and so all the things we've been talking about, they're actually taking place right now.
Well, thanks for joining us again. Let's do this. Let's do this again in a week or so, and give everyone an update on what's happening. We'll keep everybody updated. It's Thanksgiving week, so everyone have a happy Thanksgiving if you're watching this video, and we will see you again with Brent Starts soon. So I hope you liked this video today. If you did, go ahead and like this video. Give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. It lets us know that we're creating the right kind of content to help you in this crazy real estate market. Also, if you have a comment or a question, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. We answer all your comments. We really appreciate you leaving them. And if it's Thanksgiving week still and you're watching this video, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We hope you have a wonderful holiday. And if you watched it after the holiday, we hope it was fantastic. And if you have not subscribed, go ahead and slap that subscribe button right there. Ring this notification bell so you don't miss any of our real estate tips and tours. And you can watch the next video right there on the new home market and how to navigate that. Be kind to each other, and we'll see you in the next video.